Have you ever had a thought so disturbing that you instantly felt ashamed, terrified, and wondered what it says about you? Maybe it was the image of hurting someone you love, or a sudden urge to do something violent even though you would never actually want to. If you've had these kinds of thoughts, you probably panicked and asked yourself, what's wrong with me? Am I dangerous? This is where harm OCD comes in, a form of obsessive-compulsive disorder that thrives on intrusive thoughts about causing harm. What makes it so terrifying is not the thoughts themselves, but the meaning we attach to them. Your brain throws out a random, unwanted thought, and suddenly you believe it defines your character or predicts your future actions. But here's the truth that very few people talk about: intrusive thoughts are a universal human experience. Everyone has them, but in harm OCD, the brain gets stuck in overdrive, treating harmless mental noise like a real threat. The more you try to push these thoughts away, the more they come back. It's like telling yourself not to think about a pink elephant. Instantly, that's all your brain can see. People with harm OCD often start avoiding knives, walking near others, or even being around loved ones, all in an attempt to protect others from themselves. The tragic irony is that these avoidance behaviors only reinforce the OCD cycle. Each time you check, avoid, or seek reassurance, you're telling your brain, this thought is dangerous. And so it returns, louder and scarier, convincing you more and more that you're a threat. But here's where curiosity can change everything. What if the presence of these thoughts doesn't mean you're dangerous at all? In fact, research shows that the very people most horrified by intrusive harm thoughts are the least likely to ever act on them. Your fear is actually proof of your values. The thought feels wrong because it is against who you are at your core. This flips the whole story. Intrusive harm thoughts aren't evidence of danger, they're evidence of conscience. The skill lies not in erasing intrusive thoughts, but in changing your relationship with them. Instead of asking, what if this means I'm bad, you begin to say, this is just my brain firing off junk mail. You don't need to open every spam email in your inbox, and you don't need to engage with every intrusive thought that shows up in your mind. Practices like cognitive diffusion, where you label the thought for what it is, here's my harm OCD thought again, help weaken its grip. Exposure and response prevention therapy, one of the gold standard treatments, takes this further by teaching you to sit with the discomfort without performing compulsions, allowing your brain to learn that the thought is not a threat. It's not easy, of course. When you're caught in the middle of an intrusive spiral, it feels like life or death. But step by step, with patience and practice, you can retrain your nervous system to stop reacting with fear. Imagine being able to hold a kitchen knife without anxiety, or to sit peacefully around loved ones without your brain whispering scary what-ifs. Imagine reclaiming your trust in yourself, knowing with certainty that you are not your thoughts. That's the freedom harm OCD tries to steal, but it's also the freedom you can win back. The curiosity here is this: what if the very thoughts you fear the most are actually proof of your deepest care? What if the presence of intrusive harm thoughts means you're wired with empathy so strong that your brain misfires in trying to protect it? That reframe alone can begin to break the cycle of shame. You are not dangerous. You are not broken. You're a human being with a sensitive mind, and sensitivity is not a curse, it's a sign of depth. By learning to see intrusive thoughts for what they are, by refusing to fuel them with avoidance and fear, you turn harm OCD from a terrifying monster into background noise. And in doing so, you give yourself the space to live fully, love openly, and trust that who you are is far greater than the passing storms of your mind.